down here where I'm at, they run the school system, stole the money. We got taken over by the state, our elementary school. That's why my mom worked so hard to send me away from here. Yes, I'm back at home after college or whatever, but in my earlier years, my grade school years, no, I didn't go to school in this area. But when I come back and I'd be like, damn, y'all don't know shit. It's not their fault because now they're not teaching them cursive. Shit, they're not teaching you how to even respect the teachers anymore. You can go to school with your phones now. They get out for homecoming, for spring, not even spring break, what they call it, a fall break, another break. They don't, in the system, the school system in Mississippi is so corrupted with black folks, and not just black folks, because it ain't just the black, the white team, they all in it together, however you want to look at it. Now, when you go to North Jackson, Mississippi, where Madison is, oh man, the football team, education is great. That's why a lot of
And
people
yet
I
you
know.
guys don't vote. Lowest voting record
Uh,
in any state, in any of the states, okay? Yet y'all don't vote, but you got a lot of smoke.
well, that's what see, that's another good point. If we're too poor to point for vote or don't know, the problem is, it is the uneducated system. It's the ignorance. And it's not dumbfounded to understand like damn it's not everybody in the South because you got some country boys they very articulate they got money man I told one dude on the app I know a guy they got a bow and arrow and a yes sir a bow and arrow and a four-wheeler that's worth more than his Lamborghini got so yes we are prejudged on things but it is a lot of smart people it's just the system as you said about the education not there. To answer your question, Van, yes, it's a republic state, but they allow the inner city people to run their own people, and it's just not happening. I land.
Okay, cool. So outside of the blue areas where the Republicans run the schools, those students do as well as the students in New Jersey and Massachusetts. It's just the Democrat areas of Mississippi that's behind. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, you know what? I look at Mississippi as a whole. Like when I went to school in Tennessee, all I had to do was
Just
take.
start looking at this.
No.
That's
Listen,
what I'm asking. You
I
gotta
know.
start
I'm finna
asking.
answer it. What I'm saying is the whole curriculum. The school system in Tennessee, you do 2 histories and 3 Englishes. In Mississippi, you got to do 4 histories and I had to take Mississippi studies back in the senior year.
Pause for a second.
We're too
Pause
far
for a
behind
second.
in the
Pause for a
system.
second. Pause for a second. That's not what he's asking. You just said you're looking at Mississippi for the whole. But in your little submission, you were talking about, oh, but the Democrats in our area, they're messing it up. Like the people under have more control than the full state.
Well, we did get taken over by the state, but then they shipped
So the question,
together.
but the question
And
was does the state as a whole do better than the smaller component of your area that you were talking about?
That's subjective because you go to our Saint schools, our St. Andrews and Madison Centrals, there are great school systems up there. It's just in my rural area.
Next caller.
We're talking about.
Damn, rude.
All right, cool. All right. So, Speaker Gregory, you said that I was saying something. I don't know if it was about Malcolm X or the curriculum. You said something I said was wrong. So, could you just correct me? Because I don't like to spread false information. You know what I said that was wrong.
Well,
Can you remind me, brother?
yes, sir. How you feel, first of all?
I'm fine.
Walaikum salam. Well, you know what? I think you were wrong about the people here in Chicago knowing about Brother Fred Hampton. But you right, they should know. And although his wife and Junior is here, but you'd be surprised that it's really not perpetuated or taught in the schools. You will see Dr. King or Malcolm and even Barack up there now. But you won't really hear many instructors or people really talking about the real work that Fred and all of them did. As far as I experienced with him when I was getting the free breakfast from those brothers. But you're right in terms of they should, but it's really not promoted that history and in terms of their mission and all of the great things that they were able to accomplish. to you, as a brother. I think you would be. It wouldn't be wise. I mean, when you look out in the world right now, both plantations are corporately run, and so you can slice it and dice it.
Oh
And so,
God.
but
Stephen
both
A.
of them.
Smith.
But at the end of the day, the same results you're gonna get, pretty much.
That's a damn lie.
You know,
That's
until
a
you
damn
start doing
lie.
something for self, you never gonna get out of this condition ever.
Okay, so
Yeah, and you're right. Who
so
created
if
the country?
Kamala Harris was the president right now, we would
They wouldn't
not
want it.
wrong.
He didn't want her to be the
They're just
at all.
Oh Lord, you damn right. Divine Nine
We
wants
had
to
to
run
do
our country.
all over again right today. They would all vote for Donald Trump again, knowing that they going to war, knowing all of the bullshit they going to
Tampon Tim putting tampons in boy wrist.
They dumb niggas. That's why.
And you educatedly dumb too.
So one question I have for black men, now means with all due respect, children are in school for a while. They have math, science, history, English, specials, and all this stuff. Governments, all kinds of stuff. Why is it that when we have these conversations, people absolve themselves of the responsibility of continuing their black children's educations at home? So you're saying that they don't teach Fred Hampton the way they should. Okay, that's fair. So why don't the brothers teach? Now, I don't mean people our age and older, but why aren't people teaching their children these things? To complement what's being taught in school. To serve as a correct, somebody's off mute. That's always off mute.
Great question. I'm listening. Great
Why
question.
don't they do it as a corrective? And what happens when you get these conservatives in office, they're taking away even the basic history that you said they teach too much. Let me give you an example. In Florida, they got rid of a Roberto Clemente biography, the baseball player. They couldn't tell the Rosa Parks story. The Trump administration is getting rid of, wanted to change the placards in the Medgar Evers house. They wanted to take the Tuskegee Airmen out of the Defense Department. They wanted to get rid of the mention of slavery in there. I understand Democrats are terrible. At least they don't do that.
Well, you know what? I agree.
That's what I'm doing. So that's the last. That's gonna be the last one for me. I can't keep doing it.
I understand the history of it, and you're correct. They should, and our men like me, I'm 48. We supposed to go into the neighborhoods and pick up where the education system don't let up, where it has failed us. But the problem is the parents or the mother or the father, basically the mother. You can't tell kids anything. They got phones. They not listening. It is really a shame when they miss the bus.
Making
I
excuses
missed the
all the
bus.
motherfucking time. That's the damn
It's
problem.
not. I'm telling
If you're
you,
supposed to be a
facts.
48-year-old man, all you can do is come up with the women's fault. You're a
They
bitch.
took it out the
Admit it.
system. They took it out the system. That has nothing to do with it. The system that they took it out of. Hello?
Well, brother,
And he can't even parent. He's worried about a phone. If you can't control the least of the issue in your house is if your kid is on the phone or not, bro, you got some situations, okay?
So you're not
'Cause that's
paying
your
attention
house
to the
and
rest
that's
of the
your
world.
phone. That's your house and that's your phone. You're paying for it and you have no control over it. You guys, it's astounding, okay?
Does she
Well,
understand
Bam,
that
let
parents
me,
work,
brother, let
people
me
work
ask you
every
something.
day?
Hold on, the movie.
No, Negro, I'm on the welfare system. I don't know nothing about working. And even if I was working or not, okay, I still pay the fucking bills in my house. Ain't no kid gonna tell me what to fucking do. What do you mean you working? Like we all don't work. I work 12-hour shifts every fucking day. No, I'm just, can I address it? Can I address it or no? You should. You can jump back on it. It's just sometimes Brooklyn, that stuff like that, you let fly, like we working, it's the system's problem, we just, all these fucking excuses coming out of people's mouths, it's just.
Well, we definitely have a broken, I agree with you all.
Go ahead.
There's a broken system, but it doesn't mean that it should keep us from doing the right thing when it comes to the community. And we can be here all day talking about broken homes and et cetera, because it's real. But going back to what brother was talking about, or in terms of, I think we should do what we need to do to make sure our children are re-educated, and where the school system, and I worked for the school systems, and where they fail, we have to pick up. We have to be mentors. We have to be motivators, and we have to be present, at least in somebody's life, if not your family. At the end of the day, so that's where it starts. That's the real elephant in the room, is just what people are doing right now to make a difference, regardless if the system falls apart. What are you doing to make a difference?
But the thing is, you're also helping the system fall apart when you say things like, "Oh, it doesn't matter which plantation we go with." That is also a big part of the problem.
But
That's
no,
not
we
the
can say
truth.
that.
And for you to keep, okay, you've already admitted that there are some policies that are being supported by one side that hurt us much more than others. So it's not the same. And continuing to perpetuate, oh, it's the same, doesn't matter, is part of the problem. You're hurting us. You're hurting Black people. That's what you're doing by spreading that.
Well,
Yes, you are. You're
totally
not
disagree.
being that man that is standing up for the community. You are hurting us. You're tearing us apart by spreading a lie.
Ma'am, you have no idea what
I know exactly what I'm saying.
But I mean,
And
I
have
so what I said, but what I said is a fact. What I said is a fact. It is a fact. You can get emotionally bent out of shape, but it is the truth. No, it doesn't matter, B. I'm telling you that when you look at, no, guess what? Well, yo, you can go right ahead. Do whatever you want to do.
How befuddled you are when it comes down to you speaking for the Black community. You sit here and you want to berate women and say, oh, it's the women's fault because the kids aren't being taught.
I never said that. I never said that.
Sir!
I never said nothing about women. So stop it.
That was the movie. That was the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I was about to say, well, who's that person?
It's another gentleman that appears to be a Muslim gentleman.
Well, see that kind of disrespect. I mean, we can have a conversation and agree to disagree, but to call me a nigga is stupid.
I didn't call you an NIG.
No, I'm talking about the dumb chick there.
Let her speak. Mute up.
King, it ain't worth having this type of conversation, fam. Women ain't gonna never be wrong, bro.
Exactly, especially Brooklyn. She's still in his head.
Let her speak. Let her speak.
Mr. Speak, I didn't hear your claim. I just heard somebody put in there that it was the women's fault, and that's what I was responding to. But y'all kind of sounded like y'all voices, and maybe it's my audio, so I'll take the blame for that. It's my fault. I didn't hear what you were saying.
First Lady, he was saying that the two plantations being the Republicans and the Democrats is the same outcome. He was on that.
I gave an analogy, and it's okay, but let me make this point. We can agree to disagree, and the reason I said that, look, politics without economics is simple without substance. And when you realize, I get it. You can have some people in the office, and they might move the needle here and there, but we got some real external problems or internal problems. Regardless, we cannot continue to wait and rely on any party until we fix and have a code of conduct in our community. Let me just finish. But let me finish, because at the end of the day, when you've been doing this work, and I've been blessed to have a body of work involved with the youth every single day. I don't care who in office, I still need to do what I need to do to be present and to be accountable to make a difference. That's what's missing. We cannot just rely on that. And if it goes away, what are you going to do? You going to sit around and just keep crying, or are you going to get up and do something for yourself? So speaker,
Bro,
you
like
brought up.
women, like certain type of women, bro. It's
Well,
not like
honestly, we're not doing that, bro.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that right now. Come on. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, so honestly, we move to you in a second. Speaker, so you said economics, and then you tied in some cultural stuff. So let's just focus on the economic piece. You said economics is more important than the politics. Okay, got it. So I mean, so what do you say to all the black people, or the large portion of black people that lost their jobs as a result of the Trump administration's policies during this election cycle? So with, like I said, when the government shut down, we got the TSA workers leaving. Trump's um what is it, the executive orders and some of the other things that he's passed that has raised black unemployment. So what do you have to say to that? So now our economics is impacted. So what are we doing? What do we do now? The people are losing their jobs, things are becoming unaffordable, but you're still harping on the both of the plantations. I'm still not really understanding how the math is working. So can you explain that? Yes, sir. Bro, just what I'm saying is this, that, yeah, one might be, the lesser, I get it, of the evils, and I believe I'm not a supporter whatsoever of Mr. Trump, period. But I think it's forcing us to get back to our excellence. And I get it. People lose their jobs because of some order that Mr. Trump or law or some foolishness policy that he places. Yeah, but when are we going to, because we yet have not collectively fixed some of the things in our communities economically. And I just said politics without economics is symbol without substance. You might need some of that, but when you look at who really controls this economy and the percentage of jobs that comes from, the government and etc., but it's still, we've been derelict in our duty as a community, as a people, to do what we have to do to fight this thing a little more strategic. So how are the people supposed to fight the system without jobs? You still haven't really explained the economics piece. Like, I hear what you're saying. Without resources. What resources? What resources if they don't have jobs to acquire resources? Are you talking about starting businesses? Like, you're not giving. Well, all of that. But look, first of all, supporting what we do have and starting what we don't have. And until we get off the breast of this government, we're going to have these conversations forever. We're never going to have true equality, freedom, and justice. This thing was not designed for that. And we keep looking for a mystery God to fix it. We've been struggling. Jobs are one thing, but we get complacent, with that. And then we stop doing what's necessary to build back up our family, to back up our community. And then soon as somebody else, the benevolent whoever, gets in office, it can flip here, flip there, blue or red, we are not in position to our own goddamn
Can I ask a quick question, y'all?
Yeah, I see where this is going.
Can I ask a quick question?
I understand y'all can have it.
Dan, can I ask a quick question before you go back in?
I think he's done. I think you asked the question.
Yeah, he said go ahead, son.
My question is, do you think that these multimillionaires, now they already have the economics, do you think that they're around telling their units, don't, and they got money. I mean, they got resources upon resources for generations. Do you think they're telling their units, it doesn't matter who you vote for? Are they saying, no, vote for these people that are going to lower our taxes, which is the type of welfare, right? Are they voting for these people who are going to change the policies that allow us to keep more of our money and deregulate, have to do this and that, which costs us money? Like, why are you telling our people, don't worry about it? Don't worry about the politics of it, because we got to get our economics together first. It's not, we can't get our economics together because we don't have the policies in place. And the people that do have the money keep getting their people in and making policies that make it impossible for you to get forward. It's not about welfare and the benevolent. Like, why can you not see that?
Well, Sonny, I think you're right in one sense, but what I'm saying is, look, there are people who tell them what, because they have power. And voting might have power, but behind closed doors is those folks who really tell them, and those are the folks who have more power, not just with votes, but economically. I agree that if locally and even nationally, you want to put somebody in that is friendly when it comes to taxes, when it comes to inflation, etc. So you don't have a disagreement, but if that don't happen and if folks didn't vote and however these folks get in there, we still need to have an alternative.
If voting didn't matter, they would not be so desperate to stop our vote from counting, to keep us from voting. If it didn't matter, we wouldn't be going through all these things. We would just, like, it does matter. And telling people that, oh, it's just one side or the other coin, it's not good for us.
But here, when it comes to policies and when it comes to what has, occurred as a result of just voting, not your interest, when it not intelligently being at the tables and making sure that not just our black agenda, but what's really in the best interest of us being able to have a little more juice where it revolves back into the family, it revolves back into the community. So I'm not going to disagree, but we need balance when it comes to politics. We just got to have more balance.
Okay, I'm Jerry going to a dead zone. Um, I get what you're saying, right? But I don't know how that is beneficial for the times and space that we're in today. Like those are kind of
First lady, you went into the dead space.
Break it up.
Yeah, give them a break.
and then we found things. Can you hear me? Did I break up?
Yes, man, we can hear you now. A little bit.
He was in a dead space. So I want to respond to something that you said, the specifics, and then I'm going to full out. So, Brother Gregory, are you familiar with the sisters who had a thing called the Fearless Fund, where they were giving out grants to black entrepreneurs to start businesses, and it was people, and it was
Hello?
economics. All right.
Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, that was First Lady coming out the matrix.
She was in a major.
Well,
Are you familiar with the Fearless Fund?
no, sir, I'm not.
Okay, so there was a group of young, beautiful sisters who had started a thing they called the Fearless Fund, and they were giving out money, group economics, to black startups and entrepreneurs. It wasn't a ton of money. I think it was 15, 20,000. It was less, 50 or less, but it was giving a nice seed to black entrepreneurs. Do you know they had to shut down? Do you know why they shut down?
No, sir.
Because Republican judges, through Republican politicians, put in place by Republican interests, told them that it was illegal. So some of the very mechanisms, I can give you a hopeless example. Do you know they're now suing the Congressional Black Caucus that they can no longer give scholarships to black students? Did you hear about that, Brother Gregory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're telling me, and I'm going to get to the larger point, you say that politics without economics is symbol or sign without substance. The problem is in America, economics has flowed from and because of politics. And what you do, and people like you guys, when you guys think like this, is you separate them. The American government built the white middle class in the 20th century. I don't care what anybody says. I know that for a fact. I can break it down with the big boys. You can't expect people to do things that they're no longer allowed to do because of the politics. So it's not that the Democrats are going to come in and give people a bunch of money, but the Republicans have now made it where you can't even give scholarships to black students. Did you hear that the Trump administration is suing UCLA because they said they admitted too many black students to the law school? Did you hear about that? I mean, give up politics, but have resources. But the ways in which you get, mete out, distribute, and grow resources as a people, the Republicans are telling us we can't do. You actually can't disarticulate them. When white people got their money in America, the middle class, it was all because of housing. That's how they kept black people out of wealth in the 20th century. It's because of housing, blockbusting, redlining, lending towns. You can't fix a policy problem through grit and determination. As a group of people who are 10% of the population, 12% of the population, whose average wealth in cities like Boston is $8, Atlanta $1,000, Chicago $1,000. Y'all keep saying pull these resources, like Dr. Claude Anderson always says. My question always is, what resources? What resources? The Asians that do it in America are resources. They're using resources from India, from China. They have special banks set up with foreign capital to do these things. The Negro doesn't have a foreign bank because we're American. Ironically enough, the Asians in America who have money come from those other countries. The Asians in America who've been here the longest, I call them ancestral Asians, they're poorer than black people. Those are the Vietnamese down in the Asians down in Louisiana. They're dirt poor. So it's not all the Asians. So we have to actually be a little bit more sophisticated and not just say pull our resources. When we try to pull the resources, they don't let us.
Well, what's that backdrop? Well, let me just say this real quick, and then I'm done. Thank you, Van. Thank you, Van, for that. And I know where First Lady was going. I wouldn't disagree with that, and I do support it. Remember, I said the balance, and I know First Lady, and I hope you're in a clear area because I get it. You know, in terms of a time like this, and you're right. And Van is 100% correct in terms of when you see what has eroded from this administration, et cetera, et cetera. But the response to it is like get them out of office and put some other people in office, fine. But then if they come back and then they in office, I'm just saying we need a balance. And I get it. We are absolutely, we've been at war, but it is more serious when it comes to, you know, inflation and survival and etc. I think there will be at some point, not that I am at all recommending it and hoping it, you know, in terms of civil unrest and anarchy, but I think even those people who are with the mega, that crap, I think even some of them are suffering it, but they hate us so much, they still in that party. So I wouldn't disagree with you, and I appreciate your well thought out research because you always do. That's just who you are. But I wanted to listen to what First Lady is right. I believe me. I'm here in Chicago, and I do. My friends, they are in office, and certain offices, a lot of them, you know, very close to me that are in key positions, Democrats, etc. And we love each other, but I just know we need to be prepared for a day like this and a time like this with balance, because we still got to have the other stuff. We can talk about, you know, the other stuff. Yeah, this it ain't just a boogeyman. You're right. They're doing some real wicked shit.
But can I ask you a question, Gregory? I don't mean to interrupt. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
It's pertinent to what we're talking about.
You are a staunch advocate for not voting. You say this on a number of occasions. Do you not?
I never said don't vote.
Sir, you do say
No. Let
You
me just say what
undermine
I said.
voting on a regular basis.
No, but I've never said don't. I've always said.
Do you
that
undermine voting, though?
Do I undermine it?
Yes.
No. If
Yes,
you if you follow
That's not
anything on social media, you
So
go
I'm
to all
not
the
talking about social media with respect. I'm talking about
well, Clubhouse, but I'm just saying, you said and I'm
Yes, sir.
telling you, I'm very, very vocal on the radio,
about
and on social
voting.
media, and I never have said
So
one
what is your
time out of
position
my
on voting?
mouth that don't vote.
What is your position on voting, sir? I may have it correct. What is your position on voting?
My
In
position,
general.
is that we vote our interests. We go with stronger demands. We just don't give away our vote and then go back to sleep. I have a problem with that. We've been doing that forever, and we have not moved the needle. We're just voting. That's my problem.
Yes, I'd like to say this to Bam. I wasn't actually done with my submission, but then I bet you don't mind, sir. Yes, I believe you didn't cut across to get your point, and you found this point on voting. You have a continuance? Go ahead. Nothing about it. Just as I was finna say, sir, to Bam's point, and the black drop, given the black drop, and to Speaker Gregory, I'd like to say assalamu alaikum, and peace be unto you and your family. And to the point is the black drop or the backdrop of Stephen A. Smith. We've been having a dialogue all afternoon on his position to say vote Republican and for once to invite all the black people to do that. And that's been most of the controversy. Then as honestly came aboard and the conversation went a different way. But to give y'all the black drop honesty and Speaker Gregory and those that came in a little later in the conversation on Stephen A. Smith, again, more of a, what do you call a physical conservative, as he's got money. His partner is Sean Hannity. His views are broad. He has a lot of money. He's given back some, etc. But he invited to vote all Republican. And then the truth has been brought out that the Republican has not yield in the way of the community and not given anything in the way of some substance. For an example, the Democrat gave in the way of bringing up a congressional black caucus, which is my point. And the GOP or the Republican has not yielded from, I guess, Ronald Reagan to this hour. They have not done anything favorable for we the people. In other words, they vote down everything. And you can bet as much as Republicans debate with each other, at the end of the day, the final vote will be against you and it will be against me as far as going in our museums to alter the history. I know precisely. Yes, ma'am. I'm his sister. Stephen A. Smith started this. I've been right here. I have a big point to land on that I just don't believe the GOP is going to yield for the Republicans in this history from Bush has been totally against the black community in the person of J.C. Watts, in the person of Armstrong Williams, in the person of those Nigel Ennis, other staunch Republicans, in the person of Michael Steele, again, in the person of Colin Powell, staunch Republicans, staunch GOP. And they were used and they became disposable in our land right there on the disposable Republicans. So, Brother Gregory, what does throwing away our vote look like?
Well, it looks like when we put demands on, regardless, the Democrats or the Republicans, that there are some specific things that we want signed, like right away, executive stuff that we know will help move the needle. Not just symbolic stuff like we got them in there, but some real demands in terms of the family. We need those things.
Healthcare, like healthcare, education, jobs. You know that those are fundamental.
Oh yeah,
fundamental platforms of one party and not the other.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why would we be throwing our votes away if we're voting with that party, the one that's advocating for jobs, education, healthcare, which are platforms in all Americans, not just black Americans. But more specifically, we're talking about black Americans. Black Americans need and want and advocate for. So we vote for the party that advocates for that, or that supports us with that. How are we throwing away our vote?
Well, I think when we have to be extremely intentional when it comes to those areas that you mentioned, because when white people catch a cold, black people get pneumonia.
Okay,
so we have to make sure.
You're straight. How does that impact? We're voting for the party who advocates for that. What else could we possibly do?
Do that change the complexity of the issues that you just
Sorry,
mentioned
you said
about
that's
voting?
black folks do.
Right.
By your own admission, black folk, the Democratic Party advocates for education, for jobs, and for health care. Those are just three things. We can go into a myriad of others. But those three things are very important to black folks, are they not?
I totally agree.
Okay, so we vote for that party. So again, how are we throwing our votes away? And what more could we be doing to do that? Well, and let me be more specific. What more could we be doing in terms of the party to do that? Since your problem is throwing away the vote with the party with people that are not helping us with our mission.
I think it's not being dependent on that. I agree, and with the platform, it has been the platform to, for the most part, of the Democrats in terms of health care, education, and some other opportunities. So I don't, and that's why I want to correct.
But can you be honest? Isn't it
I'm
the
being
social
honest.
issues of the Democrats? That's why you don't want us to
No,
support
no, no, no,
them.
no. Say that again, Sonny.
I said, honestly, it is the social issues that Democrats support that you don't agree with. That's why you don't want us to support them.
Like what? So what? Like what, Sonny?
Like gay rights, for instance. Be honest. That is your
How many petitions are
those are your issues. That's why you don't want to get behind.
But no, let me be honest. Thank you, Sonny, and I love you for that. I don't agree with the transgender thing. I don't. Being very honest, I don't think young men should be competing with girls in sports. I have a problem with that. I do have a problem with some of the things. I had a problem with some of the with the Democrats, some of the when it came
Easy
to
choice.
foreign policy, some of the stuff that they were doing. But I don't say vote for this one versus that one. But I do have a problem with that. But I don't, Brother Quinn,
You don't even get on
my
the ballot.
family,
How
they
many
all vote.
petition
My
signatures
children,
have you
you know, they
generated?
vote.
You know, I can go
And
to
so
that.
I'm not
Oh,
stuck in a
easy
time
choice,
zone.
wait, fine.
I just have a feeling, and Sonny said it 100% right. Some of the social stuff, girl, you are 100% correct. But I don't promote, you know, that you go on this side because then what Brother Quinn is laying down are facts, you know. But that's me, you know.
I'm confused because I think you're talking too much. But okay, you think, okay, now we've got the air clear, and we still don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I don't even think he knows what he's talking about. We could have settled this 50 minutes ago.
But
Well, maybe you can win them over. They value men's voices more.
what'd you say, Sonny?
You value men's voices more.
No, you know, well, I'd say this, and you know, we can agree to disagree, and I will continue to do what I do to try to make a difference. But believe me, I know that in spite of all of the things that you know we disagree on, there are many things that we agree on when it comes to making a difference in the community, and even with the pressure that we see happening out here now, what are we doing? And then I know for me, when it comes to violence, when it comes to mentoring, when it comes to family and the community code, that's a big deal for me. And regardless, I am going to continue that work by the grace and the mercy and the blessings of God, period. I don't care who in office. I'm still going to do that.
Here's the issue I have. You just had an exchange with Brother Van just a few minutes ago, and you were very, very, you were being very demonstrative about your position about helping black folks and about black folks being self-sufficient. But when he gave you the example of the Fearless Fund, which you know, I'm very I know how it's impacting black folks and what you know is happening in terms of the Republican Party, and they're advocating for the legislation so that we can't be able to do those kinds of things. But you know, for someone as invested as you are, you actually don't know those things. Now, I give you credit for admitting it, because most most people on this app wouldn't even admit it. So I'll give you that credit. But you don't know those things, but you're so vehement about your position without actually understanding some very fundamental things. So I would encourage you to do a deeper dive on some of these things. If that's in fact what
You took my birth season, and now I need to trade in these.
before truly being emotional. That's the problem you're having. And forgive, the reference becomes like yourself. Loud presentation. But it comes with information. It lacks. It hurts.
In that particular thing,
Your favorite machine that's close up.
rely on that. Others
This is huge, dude. I can't even close.
finding the ways
Testing.
to stay.
It's a little bit under. It does happen sometimes.
Right.
But we're gonna count it as 14, okay?
Okay.
All right. It weighs a ton, my friend. 750 grams. But check our favorite app. Favorite gold is at $4,300.
But it,
Yeah, this is a great console.
at all
So 750
take
grams.
away from
Let's see.
whatever it is that you might not know, but it
It's
is
at
what
80.
you
We're
know.
gonna have 5
So
at
we don't
70.
expect you to what you
And
know.
of course, we're gonna give you credit for
No,
diamonds. I love clarity that are like great. Half the carriers, we got 12 carats because we got 28 of them.
Because I'm
We'll
telling
give
you,
you
straight up,
$40 a carat for that.
not even knowing
5,600. We're gonna give you, call it 60,000.
Yeah, my God. A lot of people
I can also get store credit. I'll get a little more.
benefit from that. There are some people who are advocating for that.
I'm just giving you an example to tell you about
You took my birth season, and now I need to trade in these.
of the economic challenges that you're having in relation to politics.
And you
So
got
these quotas is not taking away the opportunity to
It's like you gave me the jump.
That chapter, John, let me ask you a question. Have we tapped into our economic power?
Sir, you.
No. Have we tapped into our economic power?
So, yes, we have tapped into.
No, we have not.
That's passion. It is that we may not have done so to our fullest capability, but we have tapped into our economic power. So
Collectively, black people.
So we're not
Do we own the mom and pop store in our neighborhood? Collectively, do we own the hair place? Collectively, are we doing the nail? We live in colonies, man. Stop just going along
Stop
to get
it.
along.
But
and-
Steve,
Stop.
can I just say this? Can I interrupt for this? But that was the purpose of the Fearless Fund. That was coming from other resources from the government. But then Republicans stepped in and said, no, we don't want you to do that. And they went to court for it to limit it.
But Jerry, can I ask you this? How much?
No,
Jerry.
no, because I wasn't done.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am.
I wasn't done.
I'm sorry.
And here's the thing, because you are not listening. You didn't listen to Dan.
You are the problem.
And then all I hear,
Max Rice is the
I have no
problem.
idea what that means. You are ignoring what they are telling you.
Maxie fan.
You're not even listening to be a part of the conversation. Because that was one way. They are telling you without the political peace, there is no economic freedom without it. So you do need both. And please don't say balance. And now I'm done.
Can the black church, the same money that you just, that was mentioned about that freedom fund or whatever you call it, can the black church give the black folks that same money?
No.
So the money's not from the government, Sherry.
Max Rice is the problem.
Did I say? I'm sorry.
That's right.
But my
You're
question
not
is,
listening, Greg. You're not listening. They ruled that
My favorite coffee is the Mocha Frappe from Tallarico. He's been arrested multiple times, but he keeps getting released due to issues.
constitutional level is unconstitutional. That's why they're now going after scholarships from places like the CDC. This is why they went after at Northern Illinois University. They had a special program for black men. Duke University used to give free tuition to black students. They had to stop it. Literally. Lots of places did. That's what I'm saying. Let's come on, y'all. Let's start with the banging and the meta. Let's get some information as opposed to the rhetoric
Is it usually a mental health?
Because of Republicans taking power and putting their judges in, the kinds of things that you want, they're deeming unconstitutional. That's the point. Secondly, I don't know what it means to live in colonies. That's another thing. Thirdly, you can own.
Property taxes are not going up next year. We're keeping them flat while still balancing the budget. We've
It's very
sat down with the teacher.
And even if you did want to do it, the way somebody said, you couldn't do it because the government is ruling these things are unconstitutional. The CBC can't give out scholarships. I know we don't like the CBC. They're just giving out scholarships. They're now in court to give out scholarships. There was a med school program for black men in Alabama, I believe it was, at UAB, I think it was. They cut it. Did you see the assault on DEI? It wasn't just like giving black ladies government jobs. It was like programs, free tuition for black people. The government is suing the New York Times for discrimination against a white man. Do you know that, Brother Gregory? They said the New York Times, this is Trump's government, said the New York Times did it. Discriminated against the white man. Come on, man, let's get the conversation. Somebody says we sound like a plantation, so we're going to bring the brother up. I don't know what it means to be in a plantation, but we'll see what the brother. Of course, he can't come up. We're on the plantation. He must be in the house sucking dick. Who wants to go next in the queue?
So this particular, what was it called? Freedom, what were you talking, what's the name of it?
I don't know. This guy said Speaker Gregory Scrub was stay on the plane. Yeah, we outside. You inside giving hand jobs to boss and other slave owners and overseers. You can't even come on stage and speak.
The Freedom Fund.
It's called the Freedom Fund.
So,
Hold on, so Rob Entrepreneur said I had a dumb response. Well, I said, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut off the chat.
Cut the chat.
And tell me
Cut
my
the chat.
responses are dumb. So we'll just cut the chat because we got
Right up.
chat warriors that don't want to go
Come up.
BAN. So we'll cut the chat since my response. So tell me my response, why my response was dumb. Rob Entrepreneur, what am I going to do?
Just a couple of footnotes.
Uncle, please be quiet 1 second.
Michael, you, bro.
I'm here. I just said the response was dumb. I have a right to that response.
No,
Okay.
I
You
told
didn't
you
have
what
to,
it was
you
dumb.
didn't have to, you didn't have to suggest the homosexual thing. Come on, man.
Oh, you meant that. I thought you meant my substitute.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great afternoon it is. I'm Alderperson Andre Vasquez, and it's my honor to welcome you to the 40th Ward. Have you cut the ribbon?
Plantation?
I'm not. So I gave the social. 1 second, sir. So when he said I was on a plantation, right? So I came back with sexual jokes. So slavery jokes for black people against black people, that's okay. But the gay jokes are too far. I understand. But the point is, but did you have anything substantive, or were you just responding to my joke? You responded to the joke.
I'm being on stage and engaging in the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. Do you have a substantive response to whether I like
on Lincoln
or the Fearless Fund or any of the topics? Let's get off the gate.
Okay, fine. I'll say this. Let people do what they're going to do. No one is right or wrong. If they want to vote, let them vote. If they do not want to vote, don't let them vote. Whatever they say on why they don't want to vote or why they vote, I don't know why people go at odds at it. It literally makes no sense to me. This reminds me of about that saying that says that, I think it's from the Bible, a house divided amongst itself, it won't stand, it'll fall. For some reason, right against left. And y'all, it's almost like the two wings on the plane. If everybody could come together and find a way to work things out peacefully and reasonably, maybe we could stand together as a people and have more of a say on how the government does things instead of pointing the fingers like them Spider-Man memes where the two fingers are just pointing at each other.
So give us an example of what that looks like. Give us an example of what that looks like. No. Let's just go back to what we already have been speaking about. He just spoke his heart, and you got that part out. We listened to that. Now can we actually deal with what we are talking about? I just never understand that. The Fearless Fund. The Fearless Fund. Do you think that that's dumb? Do you think that's stupid? Do you think that's part of the plantation? I'm trying to understand. This is what we're speaking about.
Because I can sense the sarcasm and the foolishness in your tone. So I'm come with a different example. I'm not stupid. Okay.
First lady?
You want to with somebody
You'll
else that's
never
not a
even get
winner
on the
and don't have
ballot.
discernment.
How many
I'm not that
petition
type of guy.
signatures does he
She
have?
wasn't
Knocking on the door?
condescending.
He's the choice for the
It's
fine.
not like it's a
Y'all
me.
got, oh, let me mod other people, because
I mean, we can have a discussion. I have no problem telling how I feel, but I
I'll
just want to
say,
tone out.
Ron, that's just how she's, to be honest with you,
Oh,
that's
okay.
actually how she speaks. That's actually not her being. She was actually trying to go back to the convo that she wasn't, she actually doesn't condescend at all. That's literally her tone. She's a singer.
Gotcha. Okay, I apologize if I'm wrong. Yeah.
That's okay. But do you think things like the Fearless Fund, where we have institutions and groups that are giving out seed money, capital investment to black startups, is a good idea? Or no?
I think the concept of it is good. I think the concept.
Okay, cool.
Can y'all hear me?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, the concept is good.
It's good. Right. But now, because of politicians, they're not allowed to do that anymore. So when you say people should vote or shouldn't vote, it doesn't matter. We should do the thing that you think is a good concept. By not voting, we're not able to do certain things now. So these things go hand in hand.
I agree.
They're complement.
Right.
If you agree, then why do you think it's not voting is a
Because people have a right to not vote if they don't want to.
No, we're not talking about their right. No, we're not talking about their right. That's a different discussion. We were talking about whether or not voting has better outcomes than not voting and vice versa. Maybe you came in later. No one's saying people shouldn't have the. Oh, here we are. We got people. Okay, just. All right, never mind.
No, I'm following you. I'm actually understanding what you're saying. I'm not looking to be combative or anything. I'm actually following along with what you're saying.
Okay, so that's the convo. It's not whether or not people have the right. We all agree people don't have the right. Some people are arguing not voting will lead to better outcomes. Or the room started because Stephen A. Smith said every black should vote for Republicans for the next election, and it will have better outcomes. That's the degree. That's the room. Nobody says people can't vote. Y'all gotta stop. Respectfully, stop bringing your relationship, your room energy over to the political room where the readers are. It's just not here, brother. First lady never condescends. That wasn't cool at all.
Listen, like I said, I apologize if I'm wrong.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm an accountable person, and to me, it's not relationship energy. It's just listening to how people talk. But if that's an authentic and genuine self, then I understand. So my thing is that I don't agree with what Stephen A. Smith said that every African American should vote Republican, because that might not be beneficial to every African American. Even if they put all of those, even if they didn't take away the Fearless Fund, right? Not every African American is going to take advantage of that or desire to do that. So when you really have to break things down to individual level and only group them for people that want to follow along with certain things. That's how I see it.
And to that point, I'd like to add 2 dots, put 2 critical marks on that. The fact of the Freedom Fund and the fact of a little further back, we said, why didn't they teach the Fred Hampton? Why did they want to vote down the Freedom Act? And it's because the whole GOP, in my political analysis, the whole GOP does not want anything coming to you and I unless it is pre-approved and in line with their overall Republican Party idealism. And that is a form of control. They will accept you under a certain control, under a certain economic status, as you can see, not just Nicki Minaj alone, but all of those things they do, and they will vote against you, not once or twice, but every single time. If it means the freedom, like he said, from the plantation, freedom from that type of a certain form of education. They want to alter all of that together, want to alter the education in the favor of the Neanderthalic, and I land my plane just on the facts as you know them, but I know those 2 are tied together. They didn't want you to know about Fred Hampton, and they would not approve something that you go out and do on your own. And those are the facts as I know them to be, just by saying, my. I'm glad to hear those 3 times, my.
But Entrepreneur, I really do have the question about when you say, well, instead of, kind of talking about you shouldn't vote this way or that way, we should come together. What does that mean when you're saying that? Like, what does that look like to you? We should do things to come together. For it.
Speaking in the context of people that don't
some people don't believe in the power of voting no matter what evidence or information you put before them.
So you mean that we should just like ignore those people, leave them out, and just wait till they decide they want to vote? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. In other words, let's say if you got 2 million people, right? I'm just using an arbitrary number. 2 million people that don't want to vote. Let those 2 million people find a way to do the things that they want to do. You can still work with them even if they don't vote. To me, part of the problem is that because people don't vote, or people vote left, or people vote right, people want to be divided, and we can't come together. A lot of us can't come together because we're too busy looking at the fact that, oh, you're a conservative, oh, you're a liberal, oh, you there, oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
But that's recent politics, though, Ron. What we're talking about right now is the more polarized politics that we're in the more polarized political time that we are in. So that may have been a great argument 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but we're talking about a more polarized politic now. So my question to you is, do you importance of voting?
I really don't care about voting one way or the other.
That's my answer. Okay.
Yeah,
That's why you're saying what you're saying. But
yeah. Okay, so for those of us who do, can we have conversations? It's kind of insane the way people want to have the convo they want to have, and they didn't set the like, okay, so you're a non-voter, and you don't see, so this is not, so we, but
he didn't let me finish. He actually didn't understand the importance of voting, and I said I couldn't care less. Basically, I couldn't care less one way or another. What I do understand is it's important for people that find it important, that want to follow that system, that want to use that political system to gain favor, to get things into action, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I understand it from that perspective.
okay. What about for people that want equal treatment under the law, so they can do the things that you? I guess it's kind of strange now. So now,
that's an umbrella effect of it. No, I'm agreeing.
I got it. Well, can I get it?
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. I'll start talking about unmarried women, and it'll be the conversation that people want.
I don't care about that.
I think, Ron, what you said, and then even what Brother Quinn is, and even what Man is saying, look, it's like folks who say it's a serious time and everybody should take the jab, and there were people pissed at folks who didn't take the poison jab, and because they strictly responded to the fear, or they responded to the urgency. So, Brother Quinn, there's an urgency in your mind in terms of, whether it's the fearless funds or if it's this, that, the other, and government is taking away these. What are we going to sit back and say that if they put those things back, is it going to change the complexity of our community? What we see happening to this very day, do we blame on the Republican Party or the Democratic when it comes to the family, when it comes to the school system? Not before they start taking this out of the curriculum. Can we be honest, as y'all want to use the word, and say in Democratic days, when you had them in office, did they drop the ball?
So I will say that on education, on infrastructure in certain ways, Democrat politicians have dropped the ball because. Oh, is that?
It's the Matrix, yeah.
Hello?
I can't hear you.
They say you're in the Matrix.
I swear to God, it's pretty difficult.
He cannot hear nothing.
You say you're in that Matrix and
It's the timing, yeah.
The uninformed, the rambling, the pseudo, the pretendians, the anti-vaxxers, the anti-voters, they all can speak uninterrupted and get their gobbledygook out
Well, I'm just trying to answer the question.
You're in the matrix, Lisa.
Matrix. And then people want to argue with me for no reason. I wasn't even talking about you, Lisa. You're in the matrix. This app is bizarre. Y'all got it.
Ron, thank you for having the tenacity and the courage just to speak your piece. And thank you, Brother Quinn, and everybody. I mean, we can agree to disagree. And Evan and First Lady, but I really think that sometimes we understand what we're saying, but as Ron, articulated the point on how we want to beat down our community and don't want to add the fact of what goes down to the scourge seeing what the Republicans are doing and not doing it, the Trump and etc.
And the fact that you've given into it, you've got so many bugs.
But we don't want to take responsibility of how we got here. And how we got here. How did we get here? Because black folks was voting Democrat, period. And there was a Democratic ran. Yes, black people just gave away their vote to the Democratic Party. And what was the results in the black community as far as education, as economics, as far as violence, etc. You cannot tell me, because I live in Chicago, and this whole state.
The only place where
No,
Democrats
because
you live in Chicago, you have all
but can I finish?
You're going too long, speaker.
Go ahead, I'm done. Go ahead, you can do it.
You're right. I cried because I started speaking to answer your original question, and I got cut off. But they said let you finish. No, you go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. You tell us about.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get back to that.
Tell us about how black